Welcome back, everyone. Today we're taking a deep dive into The Universe Has Your Back by Gabrielle Bernstein.
Oh, I love this book.
Me too. It's all about ditching that fear, finding faith, and, you know, tapping into that incredible support system the universe offers.
Right. And ultimately creating a life that's overflowing with joy and abundance.
Exactly. And, Bernstein doesn't just talk the talk, she walks the walk.
Oh, yeah? What do you mean?
Well, she shares this story about completely unraveling during a yoga class.
Whoa, like during a downward dog.
I know, right? We're talking sudden terror, anxiety, even physical symptoms.
Really? Like what kind of physical symptoms?
The neck pain, numbness, the whole 9 yards.
That's wild.
And get this, the doctors. They couldn't find anything wrong with her physically.
So it was all in her head.
Well, not quite. It led her on this journey of self-discovery through journaling and reflection, and guess what she realized?
What's that?
Those intense physical symptoms were tied to her resistance to really embracing love and freedom.
Wow, that's deep. It makes you think about how often our internal struggles, those inner battles, show up in ways we'd never expect.
Right. The mind-body connection is a powerful thing.
For sure. So this idea of fear as resistance, like Bernstein talks about, what's that all about?
She argues that fear often rears its ugly head when we're fighting against love and freedom.
So like we're holding ourselves back.
Exactly. We cling to past hurts or limiting beliefs that keep us from, experiencing real happiness. Think about a time when fear was holding you back. Could it be that that fear was rooted in, resistance to fully embracing love or freedom in some area of your life?
It's a thought-provoking question for sure.
And Bernstein illustrates this with the story of her friend Carla.
Carla.
Yes, super high achiever, successful career, corner office, everything society tells us we should want.
So she had it all.
On paper, absolutely. But she was miserable.
Really? Why?
Fear was driving her, pushing her to constantly strive for more, until she hit a wall.
Oh no, what happened?
Complete breakdown at the peak of her career.
Oof. That's tough. I guess it shows us that ambition fueled by fear, that relentless pursuit of external success, can actually lead to burnout and unhappiness.
It's like we're all on this hamster wheel, running and running, but going nowhere fast.
That's a perfect analogy. So how do we break free from that cycle?
Bernstein's answer: surrender.
Surrender.
Yeah, letting go of that white-knuckle control and trusting that there's something bigger guiding us, supporting us.
Even when it feels like we're all alone.
Especially when it feels like we're all alone. But surrender can be tough, right? It's often misunderstood.
Yeah, people think it means giving up or becoming passive.
Exactly. But it's not about that at all.
So what is it about then?
It's about aligning our will with the will of the universe. Trusting that there's a higher intelligence at play.
One that has our best interests at heart.
Exactly. Now, one way Bernstein suggests we can shift our perspective is through what she calls the holy instant.
The holy instant? What's that?
It's about making a conscious choice to see those difficult people or situations with love instead of fear.
So instead of getting all worked up and frustrated, we try to find some love for the situation.
Basically. And remember, Bernstein's not just talking about positive thinking here.
It's deeper than that.
Much deeper. It's about actively choosing a more compassionate perspective.
It's like we're consciously rewiring our brains to focus on the good, even when it's hard.
You got it. And to illustrate this, she shares a story about a friend who couldn't stand his boss.
Oh, I've been there.
Right. This guy was convinced his boss was just a terrible person, but he wanted to try shifting his perception, so he prayed for a new perspective.
What happened?
That very same day, he received a surprise Christmas card from his boss.
Whoa. Talk about a sign from the universe.
Right. It's like our internal state can really impact our external reality.
So we're not just victims of circumstance.
Not at all. We have the power to change our experience by changing our perspective.
It's like that saying, when you change the way you look at things, the things you look at change.
Exactly. But what about when those tough situations keep popping up? The same challenges over and over again.
Oh, I hate when that happens.
Well, Bernstein has a different take on it.
Really? What's that?
She sees those challenges as universal assignments.
Universal assignments, like homework from the universe.
Sort of. They're designed to help us learn, heal, and grow.
So it's like the universe is our personal trainer, pushing us to become our best selves.
I love that analogy. And to illustrate this, she shares the story of her friend Lance.
Lance?
Yeah, he kept finding himself in relationships that triggered this deep-seated fear of not being good enough.
Ooh, that's a tough one.
Right. And it was this recurring pattern, like he was stuck in a loop,
Yeah.
until he finally confronted that fear and embraced the lesson it was trying to teach him.
So maybe our biggest challenges are actually gifts in disguise, pushing us to confront those deep-seated fears that are holding us back.
Exactly. And it makes you wonder, how do we know when to persevere through a challenge and when to surrender?
Yeah, that's a good question, especially since surrender is a major theme in the book, right?
Absolutely. Surrender is all about letting go of that need to control the outcome and trusting that the universe knows what's best.
And Bernstein believes that when we surrender, that's when miracles happen.
Miracles and joy, right?
Yeah.
Because Bernstein is a huge believer in the power of joy.
She says the universe works fast when we're having fun.
It's like our joy and creativity become this magnetic force, drawing in abundance and all those positive experiences.
So when we're feeling good, we attract more goodness.
Exactly. Think about those times when everything just seems to flow effortlessly. You're in the zone, things are clicking, and opportunities appear out of nowhere. It's like magic, right?
It is kind of magical when you think about it. Remember when you were telling me about your apartment hunt in New York City?
Oh, don't remind me. That was a total nightmare. Sky-high rents, tiny apartments, and just constant stress.
Sounds rough.
It was. We were so focused on finding the perfect place that we were actually blocking ourselves from finding anything at all.
It's like the universe was saying, okay, you want to play the scarcity game? Fine, let's see how that works out for you.
Right. But the moment we shifted our energy towards joy and trust, boom, we found an amazing place outside the city that we never would have considered before.
That's awesome. It's like the universe always has our back, even when we're making things difficult for ourselves.
And speaking of the universe having our back, Bernstein talks about asking for signs to guide us toward our desires.
Signs? Like what kind of signs?
Well, she uses her experience with finding her dream home, the mountain house, as a perfect example.
Oh, I love that story. Wasn't she feeling totally lost in the whole house hunting process?
Completely lost.
Hmm.
So she asked for a sign. If this house was meant for them, she wanted to see a dragonfly.
And you? Did you see the dragonfly?
Not just one dragonfly. It sparked this whole chain of synchronicities that confirmed they were on the right path.
Wow, that's so cool. It makes you wonder what signs we might be missing in our own lives just because we're not paying attention.
Right. So, as we continue this deep dive into The Universe Has Your Back, I want to leave you with this question.
Okay, hit me with it.
What signs might the universe be sending you right now? And are you open to seeing them?
Ooh, that's a good one. I'm going to have to ponder that one for a bit.
Me too. But before we get lost in contemplation, are you ready to explore this idea of surrender a little deeper? You know, how letting go of control can actually help us manifest our desires?
Absolutely. I'm all ears.
Great. Because Bernstein's personal journey with wanting to become a mother led her to some pretty profound insights about surrender and faith.
Oh, I'm really intrigued to hear about that.
Me too. Let's dive in.
Bernstein's path to becoming a mom, it wasn't easy.
Oh, I bet. So much longing, right?
Totally, and tons of anxiety. She wanted a baby so badly, but it just wasn't happening.
Makes sense. So did she, just give up on the dream?
Not exactly. It led her to this deep understanding of surrender, like really getting what it's about.
Surrender. That's a big theme for her, isn't it?
Oh, absolutely. Core to everything she teaches. But, it's not about erasing those desires.
More like changing how we relate to them.
You got it. Bernstein talks about this thing she calls a holy triangle.
A holy triangle.
Yeah, it was a way for her to physically represent surrendering that desire, giving it up to something bigger.
So like a ritual or something?
Kind of. She'd write down her wish and put it in this triangle, like a letting go kind of thing, trusting the universe.
Okay, universe, it's yours now.
Exactly. Like, I trust you with this. It's a way to practice letting go, make it real.
I get that. Having a physical reminder, something to touch. It's so easy to get stuck in your head, worrying about everything.
Totally. And Bernstein's big on this. It's not a one-time thing. It's daily, reminding yourself to ease up on the control, tap into something bigger.
Makes sense.
Yeah.
She encourages readers to make their own holy triangle or a God box.
Mm-hmm. Same idea. The place to put those wishes, anxieties, whatever's weighing you down.
I like that. It makes me think about connection, too, how when we choose love, it ripples outward, right?
Like Bernstein says, becoming an instrument of love.
Such a beautiful way to put it. our own growth, it impacts the world around us.
But
Healing, positive change.
exactly. She talks about Oprah Winfrey and her Belief series. Remember that?
Oh yeah, I love that series.
It was inspired by Oprah's own prayer, asking to be used for good.
Wow, powerful stuff. And the series was all about exploring faith and spirituality, so many different perspectives.
But the core message, love and connection, those are universal.
Oprah's amazing, using her platform to spread hope and all that good stuff.
Totally inspiring. Makes you think we can all be instruments of love in our own ways, right?
Using our talents to make a difference, however big or small.
Exactly. And it doesn't have to be this massive world-changing thing either.
Sometimes just being present, being kind, that's enough.
It's the little things that add up, you know? Bernstein's got this great question she asks. How would you use me, universe?
Like offering yourself up, saying, I'm ready to help, guide me.
Exactly. Letting go of the ego's plans, being open to a bigger purpose.
But that can be scary too, right? Like, what if it's something huge EE and I'm not ready?
It might not be. Sometimes the most powerful stuff is simple. Being there for loved ones, a kind word to a stranger.
Using your passions to bring joy to people, that kind of thing.
Exactly. What about you? What feels like your way of being that instrument of love?
I've been giving that a lot of thought lately. For me, it's about creativity, inspiring people through that. Whether it's writing, music, just sharing a positive message, using my voice to make a difference somehow.
That's beautiful. It doesn't have to be huge. Even a small ripple can spread far.
What about you? What feels aligned for you?
When I can help people tap into their own wisdom and strength, that's when I feel it the most. Teaching, being a mentor, or just listening to someone's story, it's all about empowerment, you know?
I love that. So we're getting deep into the universe has your back, and I hope everyone listening is feeling that little spark. That reminder that we can choose love over fear, that we can let go, that the universe supports us.
You are powerful, every single one of you.
Yeah.
Capable of amazing things in your own life and in the world.
And that's a beautiful thing. But before we get too sappy, let's switch gears a bit.
Uh.
I want to talk about something that really got me thinking.
Oh, what's that?
Bernstein talks about how our energy impacts the world. Like we're all connected. Our choices, thoughts, feelings, it all matters.
That's a big idea. Makes you think, doesn't it?
It totally does. And it reminded me of this time. This was when I was going through a really tough time personally. Tons of stress, just overwhelmed with everything.
Oh, I've been there.
And I remember thinking, my energy is so negative right now, it's got to be affecting everyone around me.
Yeah, you can feel that sometimes, can't you?
Totally. So I decided to shift things, focus on being grateful, finding those little joys.
Good for you.
And honestly, I swear the whole vibe in my home changed. People were lighter, more relaxed.
Wow. So it really did have an impact.
It felt like it. And things started flowing better in other areas of my life too.
That's wild. It's like our energy is contagious, right? Bernstein actually talks about this thing called the Maharishi effect.
The Maharishi effect, what's that?
It's this research showing that when enough people meditate, focus on peace, it can actually reduce crime and social unrest in a whole area.
No way. That's incredible.
It's like our inner peace can create real change out in the world, like ripples spreading outward.
Mind-blowing.
Right.
Makes you realize we're not just responsible for ourselves, but for the whole collective, right?
Exactly. Bernstein's big on that. We're all interconnected. Even our smallest actions matter.
So how do we put that into practice, become instruments of love? Where do we even start?
She's got this question, and it's so simple but powerful. How would you use me, universe?
Ooh, I like that. Like offering yourself up, being open to guidance, a bigger purpose.
Exactly. It can feel a bit daunting, though, right?
Yeah, a little. What if it's some huge task and I'm not ready?
It might not be. Don't overthink it. Sometimes the most loving acts are the everyday stuff.
Like just being present with people, showing kindness, using your talents to bring joy.
Totally. What are some ways you feel called to do that in your own life?
I've been thinking about that a lot lately. For me, it's using my creativity to uplift others. Whether it's through writing, music, or just sharing a positive message, I want to use my voice to make a difference.
That's beautiful. It doesn't have to be this grand thing. Even a small impact is meaningful.
What about you? What feels aligned for you?
I love helping people connect with their own wisdom, their own power, teaching, mentoring, even just listening to someone's story. It's all about empowerment.
That's awesome. So as we wrap up our deep dive into The Universe Has Your Back, I hope everyone's feeling inspired, knowing they have the power to choose love, to let go, to trust the universe.
You've got this incredible ability to create change in your own life and in the world.
And that's a beautiful thing to remember. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone.
We'll see you next time.
Did you get any of that?